Hi, Caleb with Brownells here. Back again with Adam from Spiritus Systems. And in today's product spotlight, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of their slings. So Adam, what do we have here?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me back on. We have two sling variations. We have a padded variation and we have a non-padded variation. And this sling is actually a license designed to us. There's a company called Sierratac. They're out of Utah, and this sling was invented by Mark Schumann of Sierratac. So we were looking at building a sling, and we had all the slings that we've ever used. VTAC, whichever, so the Vickers sling, all those slings, right?
Right.
And this was the one that I landed on as a personal preference. So I started buying some of these and kind of giving them out to people and getting feedback, like, what do you think about it? I got introduced to it by Rich Mason down at the Direct Action Resource Center. He was like, in my sling quest, he was like, hey, check this out. I've been using this one for a while and I really like it. And the big takeaway for me was actually this piece right here. And this is the slider that you use to adjust the length of the sling. And this became very important to me to focus on how we're adjusting the sling. And it's important because when you have your sling on and you are in a environment where your eyesight or kind of your touch is a little compromised, maybe it's dark, maybe you're under night vision, maybe you're just in a stressful situation and you're kind of losing your focus a little bit, or you're hyper fixated on something else, but you need to do a mechanical motion that you've just done over time. This metal piece is very easy for me to grab the sling wherever it is and just slide my hand until I feel it.
Right.
And then once I have it in my hand, I can adjust the sling very easily. But it locks very well when it's in, when you're not trying to adjust it. So it keeps your sling very tight. It allows you to leverage the sling as support. Maybe you're doing some kind of shooting position where you want to get like a little bit of torque on the gun. It allows you to do that, but then very quickly just adjust it. I like that you can find the metal, but I also like that it's not a big long strap that's
right.
hanging off that I'm trying to find is getting stuck on my gear. It's maybe getting snagged on a vehicle, things like that. It's self-contained. And so that's why, we kind of gravitated towards this sling, is we wanted that closed loop design. I wanted a metal piece of hardware that was not going to break if it gets caught in a car door, if you slam a door on it when you're exiting a vehicle, anything like that, right? I didn't want this to be compromised. A lot of slings have a closed loop system, but it's plastic. And so I wanted metal here for sure, because this is the point of the sling that is going to end up being, if we take this guy right here, when this sling is loosened and around my body, or if it's loose like this is the piece that's going to be able to touch some kind of object to break.
Right.
As we get closer to the gun, we actually use a plastic piece of hardware. So we weight tested these tri-glides. It's called a tri-glide, and we weight tested these, and there's enough strength that you're never going to have a weapon or really generate forces that can break this in a normal working environment. We're talking hundreds of pounds of pressure to get one of these to snap. But the important distinction is that it will snap under a certain amount of force. So say an average male fully jocked up in the military weighs a couple hundred pounds. If he falls out of a bird or something, or gets entangled when he's trying to exit an aircraft, he can really yank on this. You can break it, right? And that was very important because we know from the war that guys got entangled, right? So we're very concerned about your sling and being able to get away from the sling if if there's some kind of entanglement. It's not going to hold you up. You're not going to be suspended from it. So we decided to go with a plastic piece there. The tri-glide also makes it very easy for anyone to add whatever type, and this is pretty common now, right? Everybody's used to having a sling that you can add, whatever hardware you want on the end, whatever connection you're going to make to the weapon. We don't really care. We're kind of agnostic to it. You just put whatever you want on, and you can just, reroute the tri-glide or the webbing through the tri-glide, and you're ready to go with whatever type of hardware you want. It also allows us to adjust the length of the sling too. So both ends have a tri-glide, and so you can take up this slack in the sling. Obviously, on the padded version, you have less adjustment. On the non-padded version, you can literally make this as tight as you want.
Right.
Could fit a baby if you wanted it to. So that's the primary, kind of function of the sling, functionality. When we talk about slings too, part of that entanglement really becomes the point of contention with slings for me personally. It is something that can absolutely retain the weapon to your body. It can help you if you need to go hands-on with something, climb a fence. You need a good sling that you can rapidly adjust. You can torque down around your body and climb over an obstacle or deal with another person or drag a buddy or carry a box, whatever it is. Get the weapon nice and secure to your body. But also it can be very dangerous if you're, say, in a vehicle and you have to leave and this gets wrapped around the shifter, right? And then you try to yank and now your weapon is stuck to the vehicle, which is most likely the thing that is being shot at, because it's a big metal object that somebody can aim at very easily. So every one of our slings now comes with a retainer band as well. So these are, it's just a rubber band. It's a special kind of rubber that does very well under UV conditions. So it's not going to degrade rapidly like most rubber bands will kind of get crusty and brittle.
Yep.
This is not going to do that. So every sling comes, in the packaging, it has that rubber band on there. That's not just packaging. That's actually so you can pull this over the forend of your weapon onto your handguard. And then like this weapon over here, where we have the sling kind of secured to the side of the weapon.
Okay.
And this is just something that we wanted to do for guys to have a way to stow the sling alongside the weapon. People have been doing this. We didn't come up with this. People have been doing this forever. But it's a great idea. And it's a safety thing. Like if your weapon is not on your body, if you're stowing it somewhere, if you're setting it against a wall, right, or in your arms room or whatever, everybody's grabbed the rifle and the sling is just grabbing things, right?
Yeah.
So you just tuck it under that rubber band in such a way, it'll be different for every setup, but in such a way that you can just pull the sling and this will just come out of that rubber band and you'll just have access to it. So, that's pretty much it as far as functionality. The padded versus non-padded is a debate that will be had till the end of time. I use both. Mm-hmm. I really like a padded sling if I know I'm going to be on the range for multiple days and it's in a warmer climate where I'm going to start getting like a little bit of sunburn on my neck. I like to have a little bit of padding and surface area. If it's a heavier firearm, say we start getting into sniper rifles, things like that are a little bit heavier, I like to have the padded sling. For my my GP carbine, I like to have a non-padded. It's just easier to stow and it just is a little bit more lightweight, and I'm usually wearing my equipment so I don't mind as much, but that's kind of the difference between the two.
Yeah, and that's a question we get asked quite a bit as well. Should I do padded or non-padded?
Sure.
And that's the exact answer we give people.
Yeah,
so
preference.
there it is.
Yep. They both do the same thing, they just keep the weapon retained to your body.
Yeah, and I think the big thing a lot of people overlook is that tri-glide.
Yeah, sure.
Thing you went over, because that's people see the plastic tri-glides and they're like, oh, why are they making it out of plastic?
Yeah,
and
why not metal?
It makes so much sense why you guys did that way.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah, we like, those are the small details I think that make, instead of engineering a product, designing a product, right? There's a difference there. We could engineer it to be the strongest chain between your QD links or whatever, but we really need it to be a design. There's a problem there of, I want this to be on my body under normal conditions, but if it gets into, something extreme, I could get free of the weapon, which, you can solve in other ways too. The easiest way is to have QDs on both sides of the sling, which is a preference of mine, so that you can eject the sling if you need to. If your weapon is your life, the sling is not, it's a tool, but
right.
it's not as important as this tool.
Sure.
So if, the sling, if I need to ditch it, I'll ditch it. QDs are the easiest way. But if it's a situation where, again, you're getting off a helicopter and it gets snagged and you are hanging from it, it's actually not going to suspend you. It's just going to snap, and then you can just, keep going without a sling. Just undo the other QD and get rid of it.
Yeah, because I mean, trying to undo a QD while the sling's under tension.
Yeah,
is,
not going to work.
Yeah.
Not going to work for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, all that makes perfect sense. Adam, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep, absolutely. You're more than welcome to come out anytime. And if y'all have any questions or comments, feel free to post them down below. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.